Hello everyone, it's me, Nancy Finch, doing another Tea with Nan on a Monday. Welcome. Hope you've got your nice cuppa ready and you're going to sit with me and just discuss today's topic, which is all about forgiveness. So that's quite a nice one to talk about. It's quite a heavy one again, because people don't always find it easy to forgive, do they? We sort of grow up feeling that somehow this is wrong or that's wrong and that's that person's fault and the situation has made me feel bad. And so we find it hard to forgive that sometimes because we want to feel in control of it. We want to, oh hi, someone's just joined us. Hello, happy Monday, hugs to you. Oh, it's Samantha. Hi, darling. It's lovely to see you. Hope you're having a good Monday so far. Today's subject is all about forgiveness. So a lot of people, of course, we're all going to relate to this, aren't we? Everybody's going to relate to forgiveness because it's very hard to do when you feel somehow it's been an injustice in your life. Hi, Karen. Good afternoon to you. I was going to say good morning. Oh, happy Monday hugs to you, my darling. Yeah, it is hard sometimes to forgive when you feel that you've been hurt in some way or let down or in some way sort of abused or, you know, abandoned, or all those feelings that make us feel like we don't want to forgive. We can sort of get wrapped up in that, and it's very hard for some people to see that they're doing that because we get that reaction and it's an emotional reaction. So we have to think, well, okay, I'm holding on to this feeling of injustice, or it's not fair, or it's wrong, or they're wrong, or whatever happened. And there's lots of situations in our life that make us do that. You know, I've got a whole list of them on there. I'm going to read them off to you. But basically, we need to cultivate forgiveness because we need release from that heavy feeling that we carry in our heart. We carry it in our head. We carry it in our body. And the tension of that injustice and that feeling of being hurt or whatever's caused that feeling that you need to forgive, it does affect your body's chakra energy. Of course it does, and mostly here in your heart. So we need our immune system to be working well. So we have to be aware that if we want to forgive someone, it's really because we want to keep ourselves well. And of course it's good to forgive. It's a lovely compassion if you can do it. It's not always easy, but the more you do it, the better and easier it becomes. So we need to practice forgiveness. We need to look at the situation differently. There are always lots of positives that come from when we feel that we've got that feeling, that tension inside, that we need to get them back, or we need to have justice in our life, you know. Oh, hi, man. Lovely to see you, darling. Oh, happy Monday to you. Have a hug from me. And the sun is shining. It's beautiful. Yeah, we're going to stay in the moment when we forgive someone, or we try to forgive. Oh, yes, she's here. Hi, man. It's so lovely to see you. I don't think you were here last week, but it's good that you're here now. And Jane, hi, darling. I hope you're having a lovely Monday too. Big hug to you. So, yeah, we need to be conserving our energy. I mean, when we feel that we've got an injustice in our life and something's happened to us and we're a victim to that in some way. Oh, Sarah. Oh, lovely. Lovely to see you, my darling. I thought you'd be out swimming today. Yes, you've probably done it already. So when we get that feeling, we're thinking, you know, we need to seek justice. We need to, or some people even have revenge. You know, they're thinking of all those things. That's not right. And that person hurt me and I'm going to seek revenge for that, or I'm going to not let it go because it was a wrong thing that happened to them. Oh, so basically we need to forgive because holding on to that tension is so bad for us. And of course, by the law of attraction, you're actually attracting more situations that you need to forgive. So why do we do it? We do it, as I say, to try and be in control of something, to try and find some value. But it's not to forgive. It's not letting people off the hook. It's not sort of saying, you know, they're okay, let them do that. Or it's not about justifying, not by saying that it's okay. You're not invalidating your own feelings by doing that, because you're just being aware that no matter what's caused that situation, everybody's got their own battles, everyone's got their own reasons and their own opinions and how they see life. So if they in some way have hurt us, or there's an injustice, as I keep saying, then basically ex-husbands, you know, friends, families are good at that, aren't they? So yeah, if there's an injustice or something you feel, oh, I'm not happy about, you're holding on. Have you noticed how you hold on to that physically? emotionally, it's not a good feeling to hold on to. As I say, it breaks down your immune system, so you don't want to be doing that. So how did I do it? Well, I remember as a child, I had so many things going on, and since I can remember, I've had abusive childhood, abusive exes, all my life actually. I've had reasons to forgive. I lost my home, several homes actually, as a child. Never had stability. I had to forgive a situation as well. You've got to forgive everything. My mother, bless her, she had some issues, made some very interesting life choices that basically her lifestyle affected the children in us, my brother and I, and everybody around her. But she was my best friend and I loved her. I had to learn to forgive that she was doing things the way she felt it was best. So, and anyway, I always believe that some good will come from bad, every single time. And I've learned through a whole list of things I've got up here to cultivate forgiveness. Because, as I say, it gives you peace. It gives you a feeling of, oh, it's okay. They're not okay. It's not okay what happened, but it's okay now. And right now, in this moment, I have the power to forgive anything I want to. And I've only got to let it go and not judge it and just realize it's not invalidating myself in any way just to forgive. I had 4 years off of school, and not all at once, but basically we moved around like gypsies as a child, and I didn't know stability. I didn't know what it was like to have friends to grow up with. I just moved around like a gypsy, and there are some good things about that too, which I'll come to in a minute. So my whole life, friends, situations, family, all the way through, there's always somebody. Hi, Maya, lovely to see you. There's always something or someone that you need to forgive, isn't there? Even if it's not personal, it might be someone world affairs. It might be, I don't know, anything. Anything you hear happen to someone else, maybe. So to forgive is a really good feeling of acceptance of what that situation is right now. And I'm going to forgive because I want to cultivate kindness. I want to cultivate that feeling of release, of peace. I want that feeling. And when you're having that, as I say, it's good for lots of reasons. It doesn't make it okay. I keep saying that because people come into my place and they say, oh, my clients often say, but this is wrong and I want to make sure it doesn't happen again. Well, if you're going to keep feeling that feeling, you're more likely to attract more situations like it. And it's because you've got your mind in that place. You're focused on injustice, you're focused on victim. So if we can just change the way we look at it, we're more likely to have that relief from that tension and not order it again. So I always believe good always follows bad. It's a yin-yang thing, okay? So I've got, one of my Nan talks is Pollyanna, and some of my clients will know this anyway. But Pollyanna is a positive, it's in the blue section of my Nan talks, by the way, on www.nancyfinch.co.uk. So if you want to go on there, this is a very good, helpful thing you can do to help you get over that need for justice. I always think it's a bit egotistic as well. If I want justice, if I want to prove I'm right, this isn't a very good feeling at all. It's not understanding everyone's view. Hi, Faye. Lovely to see you, honey. Going back to Pollyanna, it's a lovely exercise to do. And so all the things I talked about, I can mention far more than that. I've only got a handful. Thanks, Maya. It's lovely. I'm going to send you a big cuddle, a big heart. Right, okay, going back to this. So how can I change how I see my abusive childhood, for instance? Okay, thanks for the hearts, guys. Give yourself a hug from me. So I'm going to change the way I look at that. The abusive childhood, well, what's good out of that? Well, I now understand lots of people who have been through it. I can empathise, and I also know the emotional tools that I had to make up myself to get over it, to share with other people. Isn't that lovely? So something good does come from something bad. And of course, I'm not judging it. I realise everything has value in my life. So if I've learned through the hard stimulus of life, then all I've got to do is change how I see that. Wayne Dyer said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's true. So if I don't see myself as a victim in that situation, Oh, there's Faye again, lovely. I love seeing your face pop up. So if I don't see myself as a victim, I can simply turn it around and find the positive. For instance, no schooling for 4 years. I mean, I'm always telling people about this. It drove me to sort of I left school with no qualifications as well, because we moved around like gypsies. Great. I've got loads of certificates that I've had to achieve since leaving school. So in a way, it gave me the choice to drive myself forward and achieve what I needed to in the areas I wanted to. And now I feel that achievement even more because I didn't have school, because I didn't know what a lot of other people did. Intelligence is not education, and I was drawn to going to do the things I really love to do. So my room's full of certificates that I feel very achieved with because I took myself there. And I also realised that no schooling, well, it made me realise how important it was for my own children. Stability. So all those good things, it reminded me they are going to be at the one place with their friends. I'm not moving around. I'm going to keep them. I'm going to give them consistency. I'm going to give them security. And it made me focus on that for them because I didn't have it. So some of the things you don't have in life, you quite often don't want other people to suffer that. And it makes you better parents, better friends, whatever. So my mother was my best friend, I've got here, and she did make some lifestyle choices, but because of that weren't very healthy. But because of her choices, I've chosen not to make those. So I am more mindful now of what's good for me, in a whole holistic way of living. So, and she, bless her, didn't have that. So I was able to forgive, I loved her to bits, but I was able to forgive her choices that affected me. Very good. And people, friends, situations, etc. Once you start doing it, you'll find it a lot easier each time when you recognise that feeling is uncomfortable. You want to be heard, you want justice, you want not to be the victim of that. As soon as you recognise that, you can hold that feeling up and you can be objective and you can say, something good will come from that, and I forgive. And also, I had to forgive myself because I do believe in the law of attraction, and every situation I talked about is something I've unconsciously brought into my life to learn something from. So I learned self-value from abusive relationships. I learned boundaries. I've learned loads of lovely, positive things that I really treasure. So I'm not attracting any more reasons to forgive people. Not deliberately anyway. And I'm sure you're not either. But it's something, if you do find yourself in that position, you can break that. You can stay focused in the moment. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself mostly. Because quite often people don't forgive themselves when they feel they've made the wrong choice, or the wrong partner, or the wrong house, or the wrong place, or whatever. And we've got to learn that we've got to be kind to ourselves. We've got to forgive ourselves and move on and stay in that moment of compassion with yourself, okay? As I say, the Nan Talks, the Pollyanna is really good because it can find loads of positives from negatives, and there are always positives. So the game you might play is, what have I got from that? What positive have I learned or achieved from that situation? So the other one I've got is the power of the song. That's also in the blue section. So what I mean by that is you go on the website and click onto the blue section here, which is this chakra. And it helps to open that, by the way. And so the power of the song, it might be, I know one lady that when she got divorced, her favourite song was I Will Survive. And there she was singing it. And it basically empowered her. And it kept her going. I've got quite a few people I know that use song to bring their energy into a higher place. And so that is a very good thing to do. And if you're in that higher place of self, you're going to see things differently. You're going to be looking down on it rather than feeling, and everything's coming down on you. So you're much more in control when you are feeling in a higher place of self. Yes, I use songs. I thought you did, Mand. It's lovely. Yes, I do too. So songs can be very empowering. So once you've brought your energy into a higher place, hi Julie, then you can possibly think of the positive. Because if you're in a low place, it's really hard to think of positive stuff. So I do empathise with people that find that hard. But as I say, the power of the song, bring yourself up. Then look at how it's affected you. What have you learned? And forgive. Forgive yourself for ordering it. Forgive the person or the place or whatever situation you're in. And another Nan talk is stop complaining. That's in the green section. That's here in the heart chakra. So what I mean by that is if we complain about something, well, this is wrong. Hi, Kelly. This is wrong and that's wrong and he's wrong and she's wrong and that's wrong. Well, that's only going to make, again, bring your immune system down. Complaining is very bad for you, and for physically, emotionally, and because all you're focused on is something that's wrong. It's not going to make your body feel good. But also, as I keep going on about, you're going to attract more things to complain about. That's the way it works. So we end up having a whole day of complaining and more to add. So, oh, perfect talk for me, says Sam. Oh, that's lovely. Perfect. I'm glad you're appreciating it, because we have to address that. We have to think, you know, it's a feeling we've indulged in. You know, quite a people. We learn it as well. We watch other people that won't forgive. And, you know, you see families don't talk to each other for years because they're just not forgiving something that happened that, when you really think about it, it may not be that important. You know, love can override any of that. Love yourself and try and love them too. Be compassionate. Wayne Dyer, I keep going on about him because I love Wayne Dyer. He said one of my favourite things, and I always remember this, when I'm feeling something happens to me that I need to forgive somebody or something, it is better to be kind than right. You want to write that down, it's really good. It is better to be kind than right. And when you start practicing that, when you feel that feeling inside that it's better to be kind, I'm just going to be kind. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm just going to be kind. And I don't have to be right, because remember, that's ego. So it's better to be kind than right. So you're going to give that that feeling, put it through you, put it in your mind, put it in your heart. I use it a lot. And quite often when people come in and complain about something that's happened to them, I do remind them of that one, because it is a very useful one. Better to be kind than right. It takes you away from that heaviness. And as I say, it's a good feeling. It's lovely. So where have I got to? Yeah, I've got Tea with Nan as well. That's on the vlog of my website, on the first categories you get to. So go down on that and look up the 1st of the 8th, 22. That's the attitude of gratitude. Yes, that's true. But you also don't want to be treated as a doormat. Yeah, I'm coming to that. Funny enough, I'm just about to say about that, because I'm going to talk about the attitude of gratitude first, and then I'll come to that point. So, yeah, gratitude. If you're in a gratitude place, like I had no home for, quite a lot of times. As a child, we moved around. I lost my home several times as an adult. Ex-husbands took the house, etc. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So the good thing about that is I'm really grateful for having a place, my own home now. I'm really grateful for some money that I didn't have before, you know? That kind of thing is really good. So be grateful. It's taking your energy into a high place. It's harder to be a victim when you're grateful. So it's harder to feel that feeling. So getting back to that point about not being treated as a doormat, absolutely right. And I can relate to that personally. The talk I was going to, the Tea with Nan, beg your pardon, is security versus change. I talk about that. That's on the 26th of the 9th, 22. Talk about how you need to change your life. If you feel you've been treated badly and you've been a doormat or, you know, whatever other reasons, yes, how can you get around that? Yes. Okay, so someone else has said about being treated as a doormat. Yes, that's where we can change our life. We think, right, no, boundaries. I'm learning. This has taught me that I need to forgive myself for this feeling, for having been in that situation anyway. I did. And I'm going to forgive that person because it's not personal. They usually treat people like that anyway. And I'm going to move away from it. So you make a decision, security versus change. I am not having that. I'm moving away. I will not be a doormat. I will not be abused. I will not be controlled or manipulated or whatever else you feel that is unjust and not making you feel good. So that is what I had to do in several relationships, actually. So I took that information. I was thinking, okay, I'm just going to step back from it for a minute. I'm going to forgive myself for ordering this. And thank you for the hearts, guys. And I am going to make a decision to move away. And I moved away from that situation or that person. And once you've done that, you feel empowered. You can do this. Listen to the talk. A lot of other talks support it as well. But when you've made that decision and you've set your boundaries, and you've learned, you forgive yourself, but you've learned, you've got self-value now, otherwise you wouldn't be opposing it. You know that you're not that person that's abusing you, so, or taking you for granted. So you forgive that situation, you forgive yourself, you forgive them eventually. If you can't do it straight away, that's fine. Forgive yourself first, and then do something about it. Move away from that situation and value yourself through it and feel empowered by that action. Eventually, you will find it easier to forgive the other person. I thought I was never going to do it with my ex-husband. I thought, he's had the house, he's had this and that, loads and loads of issues. I had to work through them all. And gradually I kept saying to myself, I'm setting the intention to forgive. It was hard at the time. It took about a few years actually. And then I realised, because I changed how I looked at it, that experience taught me so much. I learned this, I learned that, I had value for this, I was grateful for that. It made me who I am now. And if I hadn't have had that situation, which nobody wants to go through really, but when you do and you come out the other side of it and you've made that decision and you've moved away, or you've taken yourself away from that, that abuse or that being treated badly, then you will change, you will get stronger, you will get wiser, and you'll value yourself for it. And that's what happened to every single person and situation I had to forgive. And mostly, as I said, I forgive me for being in that situation or tolerating that situation. Yes. Someone else has said something about doormat. That's the same person. Saw it, Bex. Oh, sorry, darling. I couldn't quite see it on the screen. So don't put up with being abused. No, definitely not. It's not okay. It's not okay. But once you take yourself away from that initial reaction, you can value yourself enough to change your life. You have to be brave, but you also have to be true to yourself and not take it personally. It feels personal, of course it does. But when you step away from it, you realise it defines them as people who do that, not as you as deserving it. And you have to remember that. And it is better to be kind than right, so you can step away kindly. If you step away kindly, you can trust that decision and protect yourself at all times, definitely. Don't put up with situations that make you feel bad. But get yourself away, even if you've got the idea and you can't do it now. But realise that you're important enough, you're valuing yourself by doing that, by thinking, this is my life now, I'm going to change it. And if you wait for that moment, you move away, and then you respect yourself for it. And realise it's never been a mistake. So many people say to me, oh, I wasted X amount of years with this person or in this situation. You haven't wasted anything. If you think about it, all those Pollyannas, all those positives are there. They're there all the way through. And I look at how, if you change the way you look at it, of course it does change, but I look at all those things that happened to me in that period of time that I put up with that abuse or that controlling behaviour, etc., that doormat situation. And I pick each individual situation out and I'm thinking, yes, I have learned I would never put up with that again. So I got stronger, wiser, more value for myself, and nobody is ever going to treat me that way again because of those things, because I value myself. You can't ungrow once you grow. I always put it down to like your feet grow a size. You can't put yourself back into an old pair of shoes that are too small. You will never be in that situation again if you can take responsibility for it, forgive yourself for being there. Eventually, you'll be able to change how you see that situation and forgive them too. So that is a very interesting, hard thing for some people to do, but you'll pick out all these gifts. You know, life's manure, I call it as well. You can pick out gifts from this situation that you're in. Even if you don't see them now, I can help you. I can help you. You can always email me and talk to me, nancyfinch@hotmail.co.uk, and I can help you. Perhaps even a personal one-to-one might help. But you can do this. You can forgive. It isn't easy, but you can do it. You've only got to initially step back, forgive yourself, forgive the situation, stay at peace with that, and then look at what you can do to change your life, to make sure that you're not continuing that situation that makes you feel uncomfortable. If it's a friend that's upset you, you don't have to see that friend. You know, I've got Find Your Tribe up in my Tea with Nans. That might help you. You measure it. I'm not putting up with this. I feel bad in the situation. So under 5, 1 to 10 scale. Under 5, get out, survive. Over 5, you've met your tribe. Don't put up with less. I never put up with under fives. I just don't. And you don't have to either. Then there's no more need to forgive, is there? If you're valuing yourself enough to put yourself in a good situation, there's no need to forgive, because you're not in that situation being abused or used as a doormat anymore. So I hope that's made you focus on forgiveness a little bit differently, because we can cultivate that. The more we do it, the easier it gets. And before you know it, it's kind of like having armor on. People can't get to you as much. People won't affect you as much. You'll value yourself enough to make changes if you need to. And you can do it. Anyone can do it once they put their mind to it. I did it. And I've done it several times. And now I know not to put myself in a situation that measures low numbers in my life that makes me feel bad in order I'd have to forgive. So I hardly actually have to forgive anything at the moment. You might want to forgive the world. You might want to forgive people, your past, maybe. Maybe forgive your past. That's a nice one. So another one, just before I go, Tea with Nan, self-counselling, 31st of the 10th. Oh, there's something on the roof. 31st of the 10th, 22. And self-counselling, it was really good because it basically, you're having a meeting with yourself. How are you? How happy are you? Well, I'm okay, but this makes me feel bad. Or maybe you can just encourage yourself, support yourself, talk to yourself. Have that meeting with yourself and find out what numbers you are in life. Well, you know, what situation you are. If the situation is great and you're happy, that's great. But if it's measuring low numbers, no. Get out, support yourself, find a plan, get out and sort it. And if I can do it, so can you. I measure everything in my life, so I know that I put myself in situations where it is healthier and I won't have to forgive as much because I'm not being abused or used. So self-counselling, have a little word with yourself and find a plan to remove yourself from a situation if you're in a constant place of needing to forgive, because that can be quite draining on your energy. So it's better to be kind than right, but also kind to yourself, okay? Oh, thanks, man. That's lovely. So I know I've waffled on a bit today, but it is a lovely thing to remember. Good will always follow bad. You need to set boundaries to get yourself out of problems, situations, and you need to value yourself. And you, most of all, need to keep your emotional balloon high. So try to sort of rise above it just for a moment, look down upon the situation, and make your life a happier place to be. So I think, my goodness, the time's gone so quickly. So I hope, thank you very much, Julie. That's so sweet. Big heart to you. Give yourself a big hug, everybody. And you're doing really well. You're doing really well. Oh, thank you, Jane. That's nice. I just thought, yeah, I did need to think about forgiveness recently. And so when it comes up, all those things that annoy you about people, you know, things that are friends, family, and there's going to be things happening, aren't there? Even if they're only little things. Thank you, Karen. So whatever those little things are, those big things are, those annoying habits that people have, and people upset you one way or the other. That's nice. Hi, Selena. Forgive it. Just forgive it. Maybe just breathe that out. Okay? Oh, thank you, Bex. Oh, that's lovely. Yes, I'm glad I logged on. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. I can't even just see that on there. I'm glad you logged on too. It's really useful. So try and look at some of the other talks I've suggested. The Pollyannas I find the best. You know, I really do use those a lot. So when something annoys me, I find something good from it. You know, if someone does annoy you, it means you're not them, because otherwise it wouldn't annoy you. You'd agree with them. That's one good Pollyanna. You're not them. Isn't that great? So have a look at that. Take what you want from that. I hope you enjoy the talks. And yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, which I plan to put on later, please like, subscribe and share. I'd love to share this stuff, because even if I can help one person, you share it with a family friend, or it might be that they realise, people might realise, I haven't spoken to my brother in years, or my mother, or whatever. And it might be that one moment that they can just bring themselves back. Better to be kind and right. Forgive themselves, forgive them, and suddenly love has healed it. And it may be the one thing that brings that person back with your family or whatever. It's lovely to forgive. So see how you get on with that. The more you do it, you're going to like the feeling. And of course, you're keeping your immune system well, which is great. Right, so I think that's it. Enjoy this week, and I shall see you next week. Don't know what I'll be talking about, but just remember, it's better to be kind and right. Step away from ego, step away from that victim feeling, and just be superior to that feeling for a moment of reaction. And I wish you all well. I could talk for hours on this, couldn't I? Wish you all well. Have a lovely week. Give yourself a big hug. Cuddle yourself. And I shall see you next week. Lots of love to all of you. Okay. Take care. Bye.